video, but not last year during a home inspection, I found actual hot wire going through the plumbing drain. They actually screwed a hole through the drain, ran it all the way up into the attic through that plumbing pipe, and then came back out on the attic.
See what I'm saying? You can't mix electricity and water. You think that went very well for the homeowner?
It leaked from day one. I mean, it had to. It was leaking when I did the home inspection, but pretty scary because if they could have nicked that wire at all and having that in the actual sitting in water, it would have been shocking.
Hey everyone, it's Chris here, and it's very flippin' windy out, so welcome to Kansas. But I'm here today with my friend Eric. We went to school together. Eric is a home inspector with Maybe Home Inspections. And we're gonna follow him around today. He's gonna show us everything there is to know about home inspection. So tell us a little bit about what's in your tool bag here.
General rule of thumb on home inspections, I carry several tools. We've got a sewer camera back there. We've got gas detectors, carbon monoxide, moisture meters. So I use thermal camera. You can find, moisture because of the temperature difference of the water.
So you can do that too.
Yeah. We can see areas of missing insulation in the wall.
Wow.
And then I carry a laser level. But I carry batteries because I'll replace batteries on smoke detectors, thermometer, black light.
Okay.
If we're looking for pet urine or something like that. I'm gonna go jump on the roof right now because that's gonna be the first thing.
Okay, we're going on the roof.
So right off the bat, where the fascia board is behind the guttering, it's been leaking for a while. You can just kind of see, just wants to fall apart. Yeah, we're gonna jump up on the roof. Kansas and hail, so that's gonna be the #1 thing I look at.
Am I allowed to come up here with you?
Yeah, I don't care.
I'm going. I'm gonna try it.
You fall, it's your fault.
Yeah, I signed a waiver. Not really, but this is my verbal waiver. I'm on camera. So my big question is this: what's the difference between what you're doing here and what a roof inspector would do?
Roof inspector.
They just dig deeper?
No, I'd say we probably do about the same. So a roofer is gonna write up, these nails have never been caulked, and they should be. He's gonna count the number of roof vents. I'm gonna count the number of roof vents, make sure it's adequate for the size of the house. So the roof looks pretty good. What we were commenting on was the nails. Ideally, I'd like to see those caulked and sealed.
One of the biggest things in lending is that a roof has to be intact on a property that a bank is going to finance. Don't quote me on it, but there's a certain number of years that it has to be good for bank financing to go through. So
insurance now are wanting a roof to be less than 10 years old too.
Insurance?
Otherwise, yeah. Otherwise we start seeing an increase in
premiums.
This one is definitely less than 10 years old. We can still see the chuck line on the valley.
Yeah, one thing that viewers would want to know is that banks don't require home inspectors. So the home inspector is actually a request from the buyer buying a home and wanting to make sure that the home is sound before they actually close and buy the property. So that's what we're here to do today, is work through some of the differences between a home inspector like Eric and an appraiser. And you'll just have to stay tuned. We'll be plugging in some video content for appraisal stuff.
Scared there, Chris?
No. I should do a somersault. What do they call that stuff when you do flips on the roofs of buildings? I can't really do that.
Mortar's deteriorated on this front porch stoop step. We want to seal that so that water doesn't get in there and wash that out. It just creates bigger problems later on. So I've got the hot water on right now. I'm just waiting for it to warm up. And then I'm just gonna take a temp too, just real quick. I just wanna make sure.
With a laser beam.
With a laser.
A laser beam
We don't want it to be
with sharks. I said that wrong. Sharks with laser beams. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So, sharks
Austin Powers.
with laser beams. That's what this is.
I wanna make sure that the hot folds are appropriately placed, because little kids have a tendency to always instinctively turn the one on. They go to wash, we don't want them to get burned.
Oh, he's putting his laser beam in.
So We can see again, we're under 100 degrees, so we're pretty safe. Inside that master, there was a little bit of staining on the glass block window ledge. You can actually see the stain. And I'm not picking any moisture up on it anyways, but the reason I'm running the water this long is because it'll be easier to see leaks because there'll be some water droplets on the bottom of the cabinet, or we'll see it, around the plumbing rings. The other thing is any bathroom should have a GFI tester, and this will let me know if that's got it. So,
are you looking for that mainly in wet areas?
Anywhere near water.
Wet area?
Yeah, anywhere near water.
Laundry room,
exterior, garage,
kitchen.
Yeah. Last year during a home inspection, I found an actual hot wire going through the plumbing drain. They actually screwed a hole through the drain, ran it all the way up into the attic through that plumbing pipe, and then came back out on the attic. So electricity and
you can't
water.
mix electricity and water. You think that went very well?
Well, it leaked from day one. I mean, it had to. It was leaking when I did the home inspection, but pretty scary because if they could have nicked that wire at all and having that in the actual sitting in water, it would have been shocking. Check the operation. Going to make sure that the mechanics all operate fine.
What about when you see like the moisture in between the window
That's
panes?
a broken thermal seal. Yeah, I do look for that. Yeah, because it affects the function of the window.
Right.
I think we're good now to run the jet tub. It actually is clean. A lot of times they get a lot of skin, algae build up in those jets, and at that point in time we would recommend it sanitized. I would pretty much sanitize it if I was moving in, no matter what, because in that loop is someone else's water.
What's the difference between you and another home inspector?
Oh, well, the biggest difference is experience.
Will you both,
22 years.
Right. But will you both be performing all the same?
No, well,
or is there
we
like
should.
room for...
Yeah, I'd say you could have 18 inspectors in this house and we'd all write up something different. It's been my experience. I review a lot of inspection reports for a lot of agents, and reports vary just based on
experience. So it's really kind of like a doctor's opinion.
Right, yeah.
Right?
It's opinion, yeah, it's opinions.
So as you can see, Eric does a lot of ordinary, mundane,
a lot of it is
over and over. Repetition.
So we were talking about the high loop, and it doesn't have the high loop. So what this actually should do, and I have an illustration, it should actually be up above this cabinet, or this sink, so that when this disposal were to back up, right now it technically could back up into the dishwasher.
So that's it, 30-cent fix.
Yeah.
To keep from a nightmare, nightmare from occurring.
If that's going to be gray water and it was to back up into here, well, it's going on the floor right away.
Right.
That's what we're trying to avoid. You can actually see the hot spot where there's no insulation in the attic. And this thing's pretty sensitive, so all I have to do is touch my hand that long. And
That's cool.
So while we're in here, the plumbing is gray in color. And that is the old polybutylene plumbing. In the 90s, there was a class action lawsuit on the polybutylene plumbing. It had a tendency to leak, didn't like chlorine, actually says PV right on it. I have a disclosure that I write up that talks about the class action lawsuit.
On this kind of plumbing.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know that, I'll recommend it be further investigated, but my experience is it just stays in the house. My personal house has this as well. Right now we're seeing some yellowing because I disturbed the air. But, so I'm gonna let it run a minute, and we're gonna just make sure that the flame pattern goes back to more of a blue and it doesn't sparkle like it is.
If it continues to do that, what does that mean?
That the burners need adjustment, or the gas valve, either one. It's a 95 unit, so it's past its life expectancy. It still seems to be functioning fine. But average life in this area is about 16 years. When I was doing service work, my #1 service call was this switch right here.
That's free.
Yeah.
Well, not if Eric comes out.
It's a $90.
If he has to come out and turn the switch on, he charges.
22 years ago, it was $90 to have that switch turned back on. What I do is I'm going to stick this thermometer in the return. We're going to see what the air temperature is coming to the unit because the air conditioner is on. And it looks like it's going to be 76 degrees. We're seeing we've got actually really good temp. We're over 20 degrees, so it's working as intended.
If there were any leaks,
if there was any
wouldn't
freon
be-
leaks,
it would be putting out hot air somewhere.
well,
or just-
the temperature would be less than 15 or it'd be greater than 24 because we're basically freezing that core. First obvious thing when I walked out was the wall between the house and the garage is a firewall, meaning that it has to either have fireproof caulking or tape over the seams. So this opening and this opening need to be sealed. So I almost always write up jams on the garage man doors, manual access, because we have water rot along the bottom. This one actually doesn't look too bad. Definitely want to keep an eye on the drainage, the grading on the outside.
Yeah, that was another question I was going to ask you. How much do you point that out?
I pointed out almost every house. This glass block was leaking on the inside.
Oh yeah.
We can actually see some deterioration in the corners of the wood, so we're going to write that up anyways.
Yeah, I should have wore a hat. Why didn't I wear a hat on a windy day? Don't ask me why. I'm going to take a selfie with Eric.
Home inspection is really designed to find the major visually or obvious things during a purchase process. They can cause harm. There could be things, termite damage. We do find that later on, obviously, and in the wall. But if we can't see it, we can't report on it. So there's going to always some unknowns, and that's why they call it a visual inspection.
All right, guys. So here we are in the garage of this house. I guess is that where you usually end?
It does.
Okay, we end in the garage.
Yeah.
That's where we're at. So.
And then from here, I'll get in the attic, and then I'll go in and go over my findings with the buyers.
Okay, so you're going to go into the attic from here.
That's right here.
Okay, so we're going to go into the attic, and then you're going to be done, and you're going to be off to the next home inspection for the day. So, all right, everyone. Well, I just want to say thank you to my friend Eric for taking the time to pull us in like this, put a GoPro on his head, do a video tour. Hopefully, we turned your everyday, ordinary inspection into, well, I'll get the video to you, but hopefully it'll be an extraordinary event and tour on home inspection. Safety first, that's what it's all about. So thank you, sir. Appreciate it, Eric.